Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Patricia Palardi, for the kind invitation to be here. It's an honor for me, a Brazilian, currently a group leader at the University of Chile, to be here together with other Latin Americans, Maria Bernardi from the University of Buenos Aires and Patricia Carvajal, a Mexican, currently at the EBI. All Latin Americans talking about the bioinformatics education scenario in Latin America. In this talk, we will walk through an almost 20-year journey in the field of bioinformatics education in the Latin American region, from the first events and meetings to today's perspective and opportunities. These tasks of surveying and talking about these initiatives is extremely important for us, and it comes with a high responsibility because we probably will be forgetting to mention a specific program or a specific key initiative or activities that we had in the region. We know that different communities, institutions, and initiatives have contributed to the development of the academic programs and networks that take bioinformatics education to a wider audience and cover different needs to the scientific community. And we did our best to map most of them in this work that's being continuously updated. Well, in this talk, we'll start with, it's divided in three main parts. Each of us will be talking. I will start with the history and the current status of the academic programs and how it was born, how they were born in the region. Then Patricia Carvajal will talk about the challenge that we are dealing and we have to deal. And we will be finishing our talk with Maria talking about the perspectives and opportunities for the region. Well, before I start to talk about the academic program, it's important to talk a little bit about Latin America. In Latin America, we have 20 countries. The region is the major producer and exporter of meat, fruits, vegetables, cocoa, coffee, and other agricultural and agropecuary important globally. The region harbors over 30% of the world's biodiversity. And also, it's very important when we talk about the human knowledge, is that the region represents a unique model to study, given off the heterogeneity and that mixture between the indigenous local population and other continental source, which contribute to the current ancestry that we have in the region. And also the region, we have several key important challenges to solve related to the diseases and the neglected tropical disease that affect most the region. And the genomics, in our perspective, the genomics and data-driven biology, it promises and have a great potential to have a huge impact on health, agriculture, and the environmental management. Talking about the history of the bioinformatics and genomics in the region, I'd like to start with this piece of manuscript. This is a one-page publication by George Allende from the University of Chile. It was published in 1991 at the beginning of the Human Genome Initiative. It was published at the the Journal of the Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology. And that was, the best of my knowledge, of our knowledge, the first time that the Latin American started to talk about these huge initiatives. And he wrote some perspectives and importance and key aspects that should be covered for the region, talking about the build of a local capacity and everything that could be involved with such important initiative like the Human Genome. And it's very important to mention that the education of bioinformatics globally was also strongly impacted by two Brazilians, João Setúbal and João Meidanes. I'm proudly, João Setúbal was one of my PhD advisors at the University of São Paulo. They wrote this book, Introduction to Computational Molecular Biology, which was published in 1997 and was one of the main hardcover books used in most of the universities at the beginning of the bioinformatics globally. And together with this, we had in Brazil some very important key activities that were very important for the region in general. We had the FAPESP Foundation, which is the grant agency from the state of São Paulo in Brazil. they created and organized this network, the Organization for Nucleotide Sequence and Analysis, which was a virtual genomics institute, which were in charge of put the country in the line of working with the different genomic initiatives at the beginning of the 20 years. And at that time, the country was generating a lot of very important data sets for cancer research. And one of the more monumental work at that time was the publication of the Chilella fastidiosa genome, which was cover of Nature. If I'm not wrong, it was the first plant pathogen sequenced. And at this point, the born of the genomics in Latin America, of course, this talk, it's a little bit biased by the genomics perspective. Of course, that before in the 80s, we had some teams already working with structural bioinformatics and modeling, but we can say that the rise and the growth of the bioinformatics education programs and the bioinformatics itself in the region was pampered because of the genomic initiatives in the region. At that time, at the early 20s, we had three major important academic programs that were launched in the country to work together with this ONSA initiative that was funded by a regional program, but of course it had representatives from different states of the country. Here I can mention a specialization that was created by the National Laboratory for Scientific Computing in Rio de Janeiro. We had in 2002. In 2002, also we had the first PhD program created in the region, which was the PhD in Bioinformatics from the University of São Paulo. In 2003, we had the Bioinformatics program, PhD program from the University of Minas Gerais. And these kind of initiatives were happening together in other countries, for example, Argentina and Mexico. As an example, in Mexico, we had in 2006 the first genome generated exclusively local in Mexico, and we had the first undergrad program created in 2003, a program devoted specifically for genomic science with a lot of course devoted specifically for bioinformatics and data analysis. We can say that these programs were the birth of started to build capacity locally to analyze data and to have a huge community, the huge community that you have today in Latin America. In parallel with these programs, we had some very important events happening in the region. For example, for Brazil, we had, which I believe was the first national meeting of the regions. We had in 2002, the Brazilian Symposium on Bioinformatics, which was led by the Brazilian Society of Computing Society. And the following year, in 2003, we had the ISCBacademy, which means International Conference for Bioinformatics and Computational Biology in 2003. And in the following year, we had the foundation of the AB3C, which is the Brazilian Association for Bioinformatics and Computational Biology. And these are the two annual national meetings that we have in Brazil since the very beginning, since 20 years ago. And they both organizations, they were very important to bring to Latin America probably the most important event that we have globally devoted to bioinformatics and computational biology, which is the ISCB we had in 2006 in Fortaleza, in Brazil, together with the AB3C conference. And that was a very important moment for the region because we had together different scientists from the different countries to start to discuss the bioinformatics community in Latin America together in order to start to raise awareness for this such important field to the region. And after that, we started to have our own ISCB Latin American biannual meetings. Every 2 years, we have a meeting like this. The first one, it started in 2010 in Montevideo, Uruguay. We already have this meeting twice in Chile in 2012 and in 2018. We had it in 2014 in Belo Horizonte in Brazil, which was very important to mention because this event was together with the first Latin American meetings devoted specifically for the Student Council. And it was a very important initiative because after this meeting, the student meeting, we had the creation of a lot of regional student groups across the region. We had it in Argentina, Buenos Aires in 2016. in Chile again 2018, and last 2020, unfortunately, we had it virtually, organized by people from Mexico, and this year we'll have in Querétaro, Mexico, in November, another event devoted specifically for the Latin American community. And we already know that in 2024, this event will be in Colombia for the first time. And together with these initiatives, we had also the burn of the important national societies, which started to organize local events, the national events across the continent. And here I would like to highlight the birth of the Argentinian Bioinformatics and Computational Biology Society, which organized their annual event since 2010. This year they will have it in November in Corrientes, in Argentina. And I would like also to highlight the burn of the Colombia National Society for Computational Biology and Bioinformatics, and they organized a biannual event. We just were there last week. I believe for everybody who was there, it was our first event, in-person event since the beginning of the pandemic. And together with these initiatives, we also started to have some very important networks that were formed across the country, across the region. Here I need to mention in 2002, we have the LAC Bionet. Together with the same year, we had the Rede Iberoamericana de Bioinformática, the Ibero-American Network of Bioinformatics, which later conformed in 2009 the SOIBIO, the Ibero-American Society for Bioinformatics, which together with the national societies, every 2 years is organizing a huge event in the region. And they were really, really important to put together the different countries that normally they are not in talking each other. In 2017, until the last March 31st, we cannot forget to mention the Cabana network, which was funded by the UK government and led by the EBI, which developed several key activities across the region, allowing some students to perform exchanges within the Latin American countries and also within Latin American countries and the United Kingdom. And also organized several events and workshops devoted to train and build capacity locally. Recently, they were very important to build capacity in the different countries across the region for data analysis related to the pandemic, for example, to perform genomic surveillance, and other very important workshops that we had in the region. When we cannot forget the Women in Bioinformatics and Data Science Latin American Network, which is a network founded, if I'm not wrong, in 2019, devoted specifically for women from the region working with bioinformatics and data analysis. And they have the biannual event, if I'm not wrong. Patricia can correct me because I know that you and Maria are involved with this. And last year, we also had the creation of the RIABio. It's a huge network with 35 groups from 10 countries across Latin America and Portugal and in Spain, devoted specifically for artificial intelligence applied to biological data. These networks together, I forgot to mention another very important moment that we're living now in Latin America is that we are currently facing this new huge monumental initiative that's the Human Cell Atlas. And for the first time, we can see that Latin America is getting considered in an initiative like this, because we're definitely not participating in the Human Genome Initiatives or the ENCODE Genome Initiatives, ENCODE initiative. But now we know that some teams across the countries participate actively of this initiative with some funding being provided to the region. And we have this specifically network together with the Human Cell Atlas, which is the Human Cell Atlas initiative devoted specifically to train people and to generate data from the local communities across Latin America. And all these networks, they were very important because they helped to build capacity with different workshops like this one that we organized last year, a 2 weeks workshop devoted specifically for single cell data analysis, which was not yet established, this kind of course or knowledge in the region. And now we can say that we already have some people trained on this. And together with these initiatives, as I mentioned, in 2014, at the ISCB Latin America event in Brazil, we also had a parallel event devoted specifically for the student council, for the students from Latin America in general. And at that time, we only had 2 student council, regional groups of the student councils established in the continent from Argentina and Brazil. Now we have 9 established across the whole continent. Of course, we know that some of them, they are not active, but most of them are, and they are extremely active. This event was very important to the creation of the others in Chile, for example, and in Peru. We can say that both student council, they are like very important. They were very important for the countries in order to create the national society. They were, I always say that they were the motor to help us to build the Chilean Bioinformatics Society that was created last year. As you can see here, the national society started to be established from 2004 in Brazil. Now we have national societies already established in Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, and recently we had our in Chile, which are very important to work together with the different universities and different community, helping to build capacity locally in bioinformatics. And now moving forward to the academic programs that we have here, we mounted a team with a couple of friends across all them Latin America, across the different countries, from Peru, from Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Brazil. And we tried to do our best to survey and search in literature, search in Google, search in the different websites from the different universities and institutions in order to identify all the academic programs that we have already established in Latin America. And this is a survey. This work is a work in progress. We are constantly updating this information. And if we miss some program, I would like to say sorry since now, and of course drop us an email and we can update this information. Currently, 12 countries across the whole continent possess any type of academic program. Let's say academic program is an undergrad, and a specialization, a master's degree, or a PhD program. In total, we have 57 programs, 11 PhD programs, 21 master's degree programs, 10 specialization or graduate diploma programs, and 15 undergrad programs devoted to bioinformatics. Talking about the PhD programs, we can highlight 2 countries here, Brazil and Chile, and Mexico, at least only. We just were able to map PhD programs in these 3 countries, with 5 in Brazil, 5 in Chile, 1 in Mexico. Of course, we have other PhD programs that they are not devoted specifically for bioinformatics, but we know that they have a strong bioinformatics profile and course in the program, but it is hard to define a list of bioinformatics program. Here I try to do or to incorporate all them that we have a very clear statement that these are programs that are strongly focused on bioinformatics and data analysis. And here we can highlight 3 programs at the very beginning of the 20 years ago: the University of São Paulo, University of Minas Gerais, and the Universidad Autónoma de la Ciudad de México, with programs since 2002 and 2003, which were very important to start to build capacity. And when I moved to the university, I am formed, I have a PhD in bioinformatics from the University of São Paulo, and I moved to the university to Chile in 2013. And I worked in the creation of the PhD program in integrative genomics. And it's very interesting to say some aspects of that creation. If you can see here, only from 2014 until today, we had 5 new programs devoted to bioinformatics in the country. The first one was this one at the Universidad Mayor. The name is PhD program in integrative genomics. And it was really hard to select the name, to define the name of this program, because everybody was saying that, oh, we cannot have a PhD in bioinformatics because we are not bioinformaticians. But of course, I was a bioinformatician, but most of them were from molecular biology or for computer science. But this is what happened to the first programs here. And then we started to have people focused specifically, formed specifically in bioinformatics. And after the creation, they were afraid if you would have enough people interested in go through this pathway and take a PhD in bioinformatics. And after that, it was a success. We start to see different other universities across the country creating their own bioinformatics programs with the name bioinformatics or bioinformatics and computational biology or bioinformatics and system biology. Talking about master programs, we have a total of 21 master programs across 9 countries. We can highlight some joint programs. For example, here in Argentina, we have a program together from the Universidad Nacional de Quilmes and the Universidad Nacional del Noroeste de la Provincia de Buenos Aires. In Colombia, we have also a lot of programs, and I would like to highlight this joint program here from the Universidad de Caldas, Universidad de Manizales, and Universidad Católica de Manizales, 3 universities leading a common program in the region. And we have, it's important to mention some programs also in Central America. For example, we have here at the University of Costa Rica, in Cuba, we have a master degree program, and in Puerto Rico, we have another one. Most of them, they are devoted specifically for bioinformatics. All of them, actually. Talking about specialization, this is very interesting. I would like to highlight the LNCC specialization, which was created, if I'm not wrong, 2002. Maybe it was 2000. I put here 2002, but I need to check it again. And this program was very important because this was created to see and to start to build capacity locally in Brazil, because we started to have these national programs focusing on genomics, and we need to have people working and performing that analysis. And that program was, let's say, the very beginning in order to create a more consolidated program. Because of that, it was discontinued. It worked as a specialization, then it was a master degree in computing modeling devoted specifically to bioinformatics. And this happened also at the different universities happened there. They had a specialization, and then it was transformed in a master degree. This is what probably will happen here at the University of Chile. We have this graduate diploma in bioinformatics and computational biology. It started presential, in person, face-to-face course, but after, with the pandemic, we moved to an online version, and it was a huge success in which we were able to reach people across different regions in Chile, and also receiving people from different other countries such as Peru, Colombia, Costa Rica, Mexico, Venezuela, and others. Talking about undergrad programs, I'd like to highlight 3 important programs. The program in genomic sciences from the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, the undergrad program in bioinformatics engineering from the University of Talca, and this is not stated in its name in bioinformatics, but this is an undergrad program in medical informatics. Three events were very important to build capacity and to form people, young people, to start working the local projects. For example, here in Chile, we can say that everybody has someone who finished the undergrad at the University of Talca, working in different companies, in different institutions, and different universities. And just to show a little bit of the interest of the scientific community to learn bioinformatics in the region, as I mentioned, our graduate diploma in bioinformatics and computational biology from the University of Chile, it started in 2019 as a face-to-face meeting. We had 25 people. In 2020, we were facing the pandemic, so we decided to launch the event about 2 months only before its start. We had 21 people, Last year we had 45, and now this year in February, the event, the course starts in the last week of May, and we already had more than 35 people who subscribed to do these diplomas. So people locally is really eager to learn a little bit more on bioinformatics. And just to have an idea of the impact of these programs in the scientific community in Latin America, in 2019, Javier de las Rivas published a manuscript in which he surveyed the publications on bioinformatics in the field, in the region, a survey from 1991 until 2016. As you can see here, the number of publications per country. And we performed the same search in 2021 using the same keywords. And we can see a very huge increase in the number of publications after 2016. And we can say that this is a key point that we started to have the different programs across the countries. Let's say from 2014 until now, in Chile, we had the creation of 4 or 5 different PhD programs, for example. And this is important because we are now having really great capacity, great human resource devoted specifically to bioinformatics and computational biology in the region. In the last year, we worked in the Latin Bioinformatics Education Forum. It was a virtual event that Patricia will talk about a little bit more. And we were trying to discuss and identify the bottlenecks and the different challenges that the region is facing in order to build capacity locally. Now I would like to pass the word to Patricia. Patricia, please.
Thank you, Vinicius. Next slide, please. All right, so let's talk about a bit about the context of Latin America. Latin America, we're talking about 20 plus countries, and 6 out of these countries are mega diverse. And however, for all this amount of countries and this huge population and this huge territory, there are only like 22 graduate programs and 15 undergraduate programs. Compare that to our neighbor in the north that has 58 graduate programs and 31 undergraduate. So that's a huge difference. Also, out of taking Mexico as an example, if out of 2022, around 2,200 programs, undergraduate programs in life sciences, less than 10% have actual training in bioinformatics. So Vinicius was talking about the amount or the scientific output of our research, which was back on 2018 was reported for less than 2,200 articles in a 25-year period. And also you can see in this table the how far or how behind we are in our species regions representation in molecular databases. So that gives us an idea of the need of bioinformatics education. Next slide, please. Another particularity about this region is that it has centralized education and research systems. 2 examples of these is that Brazil, for instance, has out of 5 states, most of the research groups are distributed within these 5 states. So it's a huge country, and we have all the research or most of the research in a very small portion of the territory. Also, when talking about Mexico, for instance, the PhD programs, most of them are located within the same geographical region, meaning one huge PhD program by Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico, the second largest program in the state of Guanajuato, which is very, very close to well, kind of 5 hours away from Mexico City. And also San Luis Potosí, which is a program. And besides those 3, there are only 2 more PhD programs, which are one in North, in Ciudad Juárez, and one in Reynosa, And I mean, Mexico is has a really extensive territory, and most of the academic programs are located within the same area, and this is true to most of the Latin American countries. This case. Next slide, please. So on top of that, there are countries that do not even have bioinformatics academic programs. That is the case of Ecuador, Venezuela, and Paraguay. And in the special case of Bolivia and Peru, they do have some sort of bioinformatics training, but it doesn't non-degree granting. So yeah, there's still a lot to be tackled on these countries. Next slide, please. And additional to these huge challenges, most of the programs need to observe international competency frameworks for in their academic curricula. We need to address equity, diversity, and inclusion. This is really sensitive. And we have a lot of work on when it comes to international cooperation networks. Next slide, please. So what do we know about what's happening? Well, we know that our challenges are maybe some sort of reluctance of PIs and students for bioinformatics. They fear bioinformatics, or they fear the changes. Of course, there is a strong language barrier. There's a shortage of trainers and consequently shortage of bioinformatics training in life sciences academic programs. And of course, there's also the resources and infrastructure problem that we have. And next slide, please. So we wanted to talk a bit deeper, go a bit deeper on these challenges that we face as Latin Americans for bioinformatics education, and we took advantage of last year's Bioinformatics Education Summit, which was co-organized by Cabana and Goblet, and we organized the first Latin American Bioinformatics Education Forum. Next slide, please. Which actually we were able to gather about 20 representatives from 9 different Latin American countries and 2 Latin American researchers in other regions. And also one highlight on this is that we had the joy of having new countries joining us that we wanted to have communication with, which is Cuba, El Salvador, and Venezuela. And well, what we did on that forum is actually three things. Is have a discussion on the experiences and resources for maintaining academic programs, and we actually went through 3 specific cases in Latin America. We presented an update on the current status of bioinformatics education in the region, and also we set a next date for the next forum. Next slide, please. So the discussion went around two questions. So what is preventing you from opening a bioinformatics academic program in university, and what is the most difficult thing about maintaining and broadening your bioinformatics academic program? So first thing is that there is now no one-size-fits-all solution. We need to take in consideration all the different levels of complexity from undergrad to graduate and specializations, and have different and involve all the different disciplines. So we need to be able to address all those needs. So also maintaining an academic program updated is very challenging. It is needed to have a good team within the host institution that is constantly planning ahead of time. And so we can offer the students the most updated and competitive programs. And even though virtuality has offered us some very good advantages in this matter, it is up to the institutions to stay in contact with its graduated people and high-level institutions so we can have feedback and help improve our current curricula. So also, unfortunately, formalizing bioinformatics training is very, very challenging, and bureaucracy has a lot to do on that. It doesn't make things any easier. So often, many groups and researchers are invested in creating a program, but it just ends up being a frustrating task, and they just goes nowhere. So next slide, please. Addressing these observations and what needs to be done immediately to better face these challenges, we came with 5 key aspects. So first is work towards getting or creating a shared infrastructure for bioinformatics education and research in the region. No worries. Second, increase interinstitutional Latin American networks of collaboration. We need to have regional collaboration amongst the programs. Bioinformatics education, we need to be better at bioinformatics education to and from Latin Americans, and we need to be self-sufficient on this matter. It's good to get help from our neighbors, but we need to start being self-sufficient. So we need to work more on students exchanges, and also we need to have a look at our sister countries in Central America, which are also very underrepresented. Next slide, please. So I'm going to end up here by saying that our next forum we're organizing for November 2022. It's going to be a satellite meeting to the ISCBacademy conference this year in Mexico, and it's expected to be either hybrid or virtual, so anyone can join. And without any further ado, I'm going to pass the microphone to Maria so she can continue on this.
Thank you very much, Patty. And thank you, Vinicius, for the previous presentation. Today I'm going to talk to you about the perspective of opportunities. This is going to be much more about Cabana and Cabana Network, the webpage which I've been involved with, the development of this Cabana.network webpage. I'm going to share it with you through the chat. This is how the partners in Latin America are taking the lead after EMBL and EBI have finished the Cabana project. They are still in touch with us. We are still connected, but from now on, the Latin American partners are going to take the main decisions. And here in the Cabana network page, we aim to display all the efforts from the Cabana project and all the prospects of the future of this Cabana network. Next slide, please. This is an outline, but I'd rather you to go to the webpage and take a look and make any comments if you want. This is a lot of work that was done and a lot of work that it was developed during these last years, and they find a place within the Cabana network to showcase, to display, and there is a way to we communicate with each other and with the world. Next slide, please. If you need to want to get to know a bit better about what Cabana is about, you will find about in the About page all the main statements and a lot of partners that we hope the partners will grow in the next years. Next slide, please. The workshops is an important part of Cabana network because it's the way that we get self-sufficient. It's a way to train each other from Latin America to Latin America, mostly. The idea it was have a place to showcase all the workshops that was done and all the workshops that will come, and you can filter by country if you want to attend to a virtual or face-to-face kind of workshop. Next slide, please. And you will find all the details that you need to know about the course. What is the overview, applications, what is the aim audience, the syllabus, the learning outcomes, the schedule, everything will be there. Next slide, please. The academic programs is an important part that was mainly developed by Vinicius and Patricia to get together all the information of academic programs. Vinicius have shown you an overview of all the data, but you will find it in that section, and you can select by country and by university. So take a look. And I would like from you to see in the bottom, there is a filling now this form highlight. There will lead you to a Google form. If you find that there is a program that we haven't put in the database, please let us know through that form. Next slide, please. That's a way to cope with the shortage of bioinformatics programs, because maybe there are a bioinformatics program nearby you, or maybe there is virtual and you can attend, but you didn't realize that it was available or close to you. So that next slide. There is another part of the Cabana database that I would like to mention, and it is developing right now. We have the structure, but we need to call more people. This is a trainer database. The idea is to map all Latin American bioinformatics skills through our countries in order to find trainers or maybe people who is interested on giving a speech or talks, or maybe to get involved in work, scientific work. So you can get into the profile and get to know better all your colleagues. Maybe you will find somebody nearby that is available for giving courses or maybe speeches or to work with you. Next slide, please. This is a way to facilitate the availability of trainers, because again, you may have a lot of trainers nearby, but you don't know where they are or if they are available. This way, you will know automatically what they are willing to participate, and you will be able to contact them. We right now I'm creating. Yes, it's okay. We right now are creating a campaign to call much more trainers to be part of this. You can see in the right how the link will like. If you are interested, we contact you and give you a personal link for your profile, and that way you can keep it updated or maybe delete it or change anything on your profile. This way you are in total control of what you want to showcase. And you can see that, for instance, Jose Arturo Molina is willing to deliver a lecture, scientific collaboration, developing programs, and speak to a journalist to make outreach. So, and also you will find where is his location and what is his email address, and that will allow us to keep in contact each other. Next slide, please. This is I wanted just to mention that we hope by December to have another call of secondments. The secondments program, it was a huge part of the Cabana project. This is a way to interchange experience, to create a lot of resources, to create, make science, and also connect each other. Next slide. I just wanted to mention that within the Cabana network page, there are the courses, online courses that was developed by Rebecca Campos and Alejandro Reyes in Costa Rica. They have managed to have a lot of courses. They are open, they are available in English and also in Spanish. So this is a way to cope with language barriers and shortage of bioinformatics training, because if you don't have that training in your undergraduate, maybe you can take one of those courses and get to know a little bit more about bioinformatics. And well, that's it. Thank you, everyone. I don't know if Vinicius or Patricia wanted to mention something to wrap up.
Well, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Patricia. I don't know if Patricia also would like to say something. I just would like to say thank you to all the people involved with this. Here we can see only 3 names, but it was a monumental team, a lot of people working from different countries. And also say thank you to the founders of this, the main founders of Cabana, the Global Challenge Research Fund, the UK Research and Innovation, the EMBO EBI, and for us here in Chile, the Agencia Nacional de Investigación y Desarrollo, through these 3 initiatives, the ANILLO, FUNDAP, and FUNDECIT. And of course, these are activities that we are trying. This is only a piece of work that we are doing, trying to solve these bottlenecks that we have and trying to spread the word on bioinformatics across our continent, trying to have more attention of people locally here. We have some issues that need to be solved. That people don't look to the neighborhood. Brazilians do not collaborate with other Latin Americans. Chileans do not collaborate. Do not collaborate with the other Latin Americans. We are always looking to Europe, looking to the United States, and this is something that needs to change. We have a lot of great people doing great work here since 20 years ago. And we already have people enough to put together, to organize courses, to co-organize events, to co-organize academic programs. I don't know if Patricia would like to say another words before we open to discussion.
No, I think you both made very good closing remarks. I'll leave these with an open call for everyone to get involved, to be more open to work within Latin American colleagues, and yeah, there's a lot of challenges that are difficult, but we can do some good work together. So, thank you.
Thank you for the great and very informative presentation. I think we have a few minutes for questions now, and I see there's one question in the Q&A box from Dr. R.J. Murray. What do each of you find is the best or most effective form of outreach or education?
I can answer that if Patricia and Vinicius wanted. Okay. Sorry?
Please, Maria.
Okay. I think if I get in the answer right, I think that the most effective way to educate, to teach, or to do outreach is active learning. You can just Google it. It's a way to get people involved during the training, and if you want somebody to learn something new, there are two things that mainly you have to have in mind. First of all, motivation. So if you can connect the new topic to something that gets is part of the day-to-day of your audience. If you can connect that new topic to something that people will rely with, that help you with motivation and a more effective training or outreach. And also to be more active, to try to people to do things, to be involved, to press a button or to choose an answer or do something about it, because action is a way to really get involved with training and education.
Yes, I agree with Maria. And talking about outreach, and because outreach is the first step to raise awareness, to bring people to join a new field. And I believe we scientists, we have a very big problem in communicate science, the science we do. We don't know how to talk about what we are doing to a broader audience. And I believe we need to get used much more with the new digital media we have: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All these, they are very interesting, and they are a very powerful source to attract novel people to a new science. This is very important. Another thing that I like a lot is the scientific crowdfunding. You can, I don't know, we always have an issue with funding, at least here in Latin America. And if you have a crowdfunding campaign for a very short, a very small project, okay, you will receive the money, but it's not just that. When you are asking a donation for a project, you need to communicate. So it makes you to try to work better on how to talk about your project to a broader audience. When we are talking about, in my opinion, with you already have an undergrad student trying or eager to go into dive into the bioinformatics field. A challenge that we have seen here in Latin America is the language barrier. Unfortunately, this is common to see. You have in the national meetings, for example, in Brazil, we have all the talks in English, and we can see that the undergrad, they do not participate, but if you have talks in Portuguese, they participate. So language barrier is a very important bottleneck. But if we, for at least for the beginning, for them to start to, of course, they need to take the English courses, but it's important, in my opinion, to have at least basic content on bioinformatics for beginners in local language. This is fundamental, at least to start to build the knowledge in parallel when they are learning English.
Yeah, when speaking about the PI or researcher perspective, I've had the opportunity to work with different researchers in Latin America, and they actually are eager to learn. So having materials or having programs, there are the fits at least the more fundamentals of basic needs does help a lot on reaching these new groups. We've had with Maria and other young researchers, we've had we've reached two different national universities in two different Latin American countries, and they were both eager to start learning so they can reach other to their students and actually integrate bioinformatics to their curricula or the materials that they are actually giving. So yeah, that also needs to be taken care of and have attention to that.
Yeah, see, we have another question here from Dr. Murray. What do you think would be the best approach to minimize communication barriers such as language, if there even is one?
That's a difficult question. In my opinion, in my personal opinion, that will take time. First of all, we try to give access through courses in Spanish, but there is a point that every scientist will need the English skills. So the best way is to be realistic, to help through all the way, to get involved little by little in academic programs or academic activities that involve them to get into the English language little by little. And that is why, for instance, secondments are really a good resource. So if they can get to another place and learn and get in contact with EBI, MBL, EBI, that's could be a way.
Yeah, this is a very hard question, and as Maria said, the students, they must learn English. But of course, at the beginning it's hard, as I mentioned before. Here, what we are trying to do is to have the basic material for the undergrad students in local language, in Spanish. But of course, as soon as they are part of a group, we try to have the group meetings in English to force them to try to give the talk in English, or present the results in English and discuss in English. Of course, this is at the beginning is hard because they are shy to participate, afraid of making mistakes with the language. And another very important and interesting activity that can be done is to the secondments. Would be really nice to have people receiving them. A part of the wonderful experience of living in another country, living another culture, learning novel technologies in a group. Would be really nice to have people open it to this, and have the patience, of course, to have the guy from abroad that's not completely used to the language, but it's eager to learn, because normally the guys are like that, right?
I would add that bioinformatics is already hard to learn, I would say. And if on top of that you add the language barrier or the language layer, that makes it even more challenging to these new students, or that discourages potential students or potential bioinformaticians from going into this field. So it's really, really important to address these matters. So now we all say language barrier. It is important to have materials in Spanish or Portuguese or whatever other language. I can tell you, we're working with Wendy Bacon, for instance, on an initiative that is actually collecting data to see the actual impact on learning from working with non-English language materials, or English language materials, or materials that are actually automatically translated. Now, automatic translation is tricky here because bioinformatics has a really, really technical language, and it just doesn't work that nicely on automatic translation. So yeah, it's not a magical solution for these matter as well. So yeah, we're in the middle of collecting data. There was one workshop. All this data is collected through tutorials and workshops made based on the Galaxy platform, a single cell tutorial and a basic Galaxy usage tutorial. So yeah, I guess that we'll update you with the proper answers on the impact that we actually saw on these groups.